How to cure a throat burn in a few days. Hello, my name is Victor Ivanovich. I am an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And my mission is to help as many people as possible in our country and all over the world to become healthy. And today, I will tell you how to deal with such a problem as a sore throat. It's the primary syndrome, but it's also the third syndrome. There's another parameter like that. But it doesn't matter. What matters are these ends. It's important that it has become important. It doesn't matter what they will hide. Today we will be talking with you about adults, because children have only other problems, and this is a separate body for a separate video. Oroka owns the scheme of today's video. First I will tell you what the problem is, so that you understand how to treat it. This is important. Next, I will tell you about how to identify the cause that triggers this. This is also extremely important. And thirdly, I will tell you about the universal actions that, in principle, can be taken even without you to quickly deal with this problem. The first thing you need to understand is that not everyone always understands. But most people don't feel this understanding when everything is in order. Every person produces mucus in their nose. Immune cells float in it. This mucus protects us from unfavorable environmental factors, from viruses, from microbes. This mucus in the nose does not crawl into the nose. It is constantly formed, and it actually sticks to the grain, then mixes with the grain, smooths out, and we normally do not feel it. But we start to feel it under any condition. First, if the tourist one, which is designed for this slide, starts to work slower, it becomes more dense, more viscous, and we start to feel it. Second, this is when the mucus is already in our nasal cavities and it forms more forward, and it becomes more viscous. And there are mass ones. This is when more mucus forms, and there are problems in the throat with the slow process, and then everything gets worse. I told you this not to extend the duration of the video, but so that you understand that there is a reason. And to deal with the problem, you need to eliminate this cause. Burning sensation in the throat. What could it be related to? With a review. With a bacterial inflammatory process. The immune system overreacts to excess bacteria, triggering inflammation. In chronic hyperzone infection, especially hyperstech-stain club features, Vaxit, angilovirus, herpes 6, with the influence of the nose and nasal sinuses on the throat, with the influence of the gastrointestinal tract because there can be throw-ups from the stomach and esophagus. This irritates both the throat and the pharynx. Therefore, if you have such an opportunity, let's go to the doctor at Darina Laryngolova and assess the condition of the nose in the boat, look at the overall condition of the nose, the condition of the nasal sinuses, the condition of the throat, whether there are signs of a revolutionary disease, that is, the throw-ups from the stomach into the esophagus. Already at the reception, Lord Reichel can take masks in the presence of signs of a hyperial process, masks for flora, in the presence of signs of inflammation of the lymphoid tissue, including on the Sunlotka, doctors know what it is, exclude viral infections of the herpes Ivestein-Marks group and domegalovirus herpes 6. In any case, it is desirable to exclude allergic conditions, check for hidden allergy, or if you have a clear allergy, then just go to allergologists and observe. Look at the activity, whether there is some active allergy in your body now or not. What needs to be done necessarily? First, it's an ear, nose, and throat examination. Preferably look at the throat directly with an endoscope to see what's going on there so the doctor can see it. Second, at least do an X-ray of the nasal sinuses to see what's in the sinuses if everything is in order. Third, rule out allergies. If you are bothered by vegans, acrylics, you understand that something is wrong with your gold work, then there is no video yet. We exclude throws on the astronaut, we exclude normal reflux. Time is odd because of which more mucus can form. Because of the same old allergy, because of the dissolution processes in the nasal sinuses. But I already told you that you need to do an X-ray in the nasal sinuses because of anatomical features. Because sometimes there is such a thing that the strongly expressed curvature of the nose, it contacts with the mucous membrane, where there should not be such contact, and roughly speaking, it tries to wash it off from there, thinking that something has fallen there, of course. There are no brains there, but nevertheless, there are certain reflexes, and it starts to wash it off. I singled out psychological reasons for you in a separate category. They are always there. The simplest example, What happens to your nose when you cry? Indeed, in connection with the crying, the nose swells, twists, whistles, and begins to flow back into the majority of people's throats. But if everything is clear here, then in fact, in some situations, our regenerative nervous system also triggers increased mucus formation. In certain circumstances, it has learned to do this, but it triggers this on a constant level even in those circumstances where it is not necessary to do so. The most important thing is that our brain is so unique that it remembers everything and it knows everything. That's why now, thank God, modern psychologists have started to appear who are engaged in psychosomatics, who can help you understand in which situations, with what the starting situation is born. That is why now it continues to react the organism in such a way that, from the point of view of psychology, triggers such reactions, and it is always there. The most important thing is that you can figure this out and it can be eliminated. Now I will tell you about universal actions that each of you can take to deal with this problem, of course, with good acclimatization and the absence of industrial emissions. The most important thing to do is to moisturize the mucous membrane, because we now know that we feel this mucus, but when it actually becomes more soft and thicker. Therefore, if we moisturize the mucous membrane, this mucus will become moist, we will feel it less, and over time we will stop feeling it altogether, and this symptom will pass. In this form, if we moisturize the mucous membrane, the smoke system works better, less energy is manifested. That is, there are tons of benefits from moisturizing the nose. The first thing we need to do is to create conditions that are optimal, in which the mucous membrane will not dry out. This is the air temperature in the room where you are, less than 24 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is higher, it creates conditions for the mucous membrane to dry out. And the most important factor is humidity, which should not be less than 40%, ideally 50-60%. Therefore, we close the wings of your battery, remove the humidifiers, and control all this with a thermal imager. Now everyone has the opportunity to buy a moisturizing nasal spray. This is usually a spray based on seawater. Regardless of the various names, the most important thing is that this spray is isotonic, which corresponds to the concentration of physical saline. Or just saline solution, we fill any spray bottle and moisturize the nose. Here now a link will appear to a video about different tricks, about different sprays for moisturizing the nose, how to make the cheapest spray for moisturizing the nose. A link will appear and you can watch this video separately. Moisturize your nose at least in the morning and evening, and at most 3 to 4 times a day. Next, regardless of whether more mucus is produced or the cilia works slower due to the inflammatory process, our task is to remove the inflammation. And here we use universal anti-inflammatory drugs, specially synthesized local hormones for this, which select this inflammatory process. The word hormones does not scare you, because we have hormones in our actual organism. There are hormones with a wide range of actions from which many organs and systems are influenced. Those that work only in a bunch of numbers, and even if they now or practically do not get into the blood with any systemic influence, invisible to other organs, do not possess. For the nose, we usually use either mometasone or fluticasone. Online trading again in new classic bases and accordingly bases so that there were no specific instructions. For this, you need to see a medical doctor, have a thyroid scan, and he will prescribe you a treatment plan. Usually we use them in clubs twice a day at every onset, often at the start, for example, for half a week, then we switch to once a day after treatment usually takes no less than a month. Came with a rule to make it safe, to make it quality, then you need to go to a reception, read Revolution. You can also use natural components, for example, chicken oil, spruce oil, and most importantly, as a rule, such oils are sold in pharmacies hemorrhoidally, that is, in principle, there is nothing in the composition of this oil except olive. Therefore, you can look for such oils, you can find in Russia, which unfairly in its composition contain dust oil or pine oil. These components are an open inflammatory action, a natural antiseptic action, and even improving their mechanism. As a rule, we prescribe these oils to the nose to drip 2 to 3 drops into each nostril 2 to 3 times a day for 3 to 4 weeks. By universal actions, perhaps that's all. The basis, I say again, will depend on the identified problem, on the predisposition to the cause that will be established. It is necessary to take certain actions quickly to achieve the result. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, relatives, anyone who might have a similar problem. Not so new, participate in my firm mission and multiply the number of people on the resume with these details. Take care of your health and stay healthy. Your Dr. Harnoff.